Hello and welcome to the Wu Wei Wisdom Tao Dialogues. Drawing from my practice as a Taoist monk and teacher, we can explore the Wu Wei balance and harmony in all areas of life. In this week's episode of the Tao Dialogues, we will explore humility's gentle, often misunderstood power. Now, have you ever been told that being humble makes you weak? Or perhaps you wonder if humility and ambition can walk the same path. We'll face these challenging questions together as we dive into this Tao Dialogue, uncovering how humility isn't about hiding, but revealing our quieter strength. True humility in Taoism is not about shrinking ourselves or surrendering our values. It is about recognizing our true, authentic place in the vast rhythm of the cosmos, of the universe that we live in. Humility is often mistaken for invisibility in a world that values noise, assertion, and visibility, standing tall and being big and shouting louder. But as we unpick the illusion, we'll uncover something much deeper, much more profound, an authentic confidence rooted in our Shen, our divine spiritual essence. You could say our birthright. We do not need to boast or to prove that we have this. We need to live in flow when we are aligned to it. The Tao teaches us through its silent strength. As verse 27 of the Tao Te Ching reminds us in my upcoming book, the Tao does not cling to judgments of the world, for they are transient, like passing clouds. Instead, the sage walks harmoniously with the internal Tao, where all things find their root. Humility is embedded in this teaching, because if we step back, we are not less. If we take a breath, we are not weak, because we do not need to compare ourselves. We do not need to show that we're stronger than others, because we should know that within ourselves. Now there's a part of our psyche from our childhood that I call the inner child, has different ideas. It believes that power comes from being dominant. Even when it's listening to these words, it may panic and resist, because we're speaking of being humble. It may see that as being weak, as a doormat. Can I reassure it that we don't need to stand taller than anybody else? We don't need to be special, because we're something much more important. We are unique. And the real power and the validation doesn't come from external sources. It comes from us really believing and connecting to the truth of who we are. That birthright I talked about. This quieter voice. This inner knowing. So when others are shouting and practicing one-upmanship, you can take a breath and you can smile and quietly connect to yourself. Because we could imagine this being humble as very natural. Look at the bamboo, how it bends in the wind and the storms. It's rooted deeply in the earth, yet it sways gracefully. When the storms come, the bamboo does not resist. It bends, it yields, but it does not break. It's soft, it's flexible. And then after the storm, when all the big branches are broken off the trees and there's chaos, what does the bamboo do? It just gently rises again. And this is being humble. This is who we are. This is our strength. We don't need to fight. We don't need the one-upmanship. We have to know our value. And we have to profoundly believe in it. We have to understand that you no longer have to prove yourself to anyone, even yourself. You should have that trust within you. This inner work of being humble is really a work of strength. It's really a work of inner connection. It's really the inner child's work, and it should be done with love and compassion. Because the inner child will resist. Even now, again, as he's listening, it may create fears. It may give you worst case scenarios. It may believe that if it's weak, it will be ignored, it'll be walked over, it'll be devalued, it will be rejected, abandoned. But this is not what we're talking about. What we're talking about in being humble is not entering into the fight. We don't have to be the fastest runner. We don't have to jump the highest. We don't have to be bigger, stronger. What we do have to be is authentic. We do have to believe in ourselves. We do have to walk our path. And we do have to connect to that inner knowing. That we don't lose that voice, that quieter voice that's deep within us. Some people call it your authentic voice, your inner voice, your intuition. But one thing I know, it doesn't shout. The inner child shouts, creates strong emotions, wants a one-upmanship, wants the best job, wants to have the biggest house and the best car. But is that who you really are? Is that really your spirituality? Is that what defines you? Or is it the quiet courage to sometimes we admit when we don't know, to listen before we speak, to act not out of pride, but out of our principle? The Tao says the sage does not seek credit. It's not looking for praise from other people. Yet in its quiet confidence, people are drawn towards it. Have you ever had that experience that somebody enters a room and they're quiet and they're gracious, but they have an inner strength, an inner knowing that attracts you to them? This is the teaching that we're talking about. We don't slam open the door and walk in and say, "Hi everybody, I'm the greatest." But you know that they have this inner strength. And this is something you can practice right now for yourself tomorrow. Perhaps meeting a friend or going to work or being in a family and they're all trying to get attention. Why don't you take a breath and just drop your shoulders and observe? Watch what they're doing. See if you notice this one-upmanship, this being the highest. And then ask yourself, what is the belief beneath this urgency? What is it they're trying to prove? What is it they're so terrified of? Is it being less than? Is it proving that they got to be better? And again, this is the teaching of being humble. It's not about compliance. It's about insight. It's about understanding. It's about accepting. It's about trusting ourselves. It's about understanding our stories. It's about understanding that self-talk that we say to ourselves with kindness, with truth, with humility. Never asking ourselves to be silent, never shrinking away, never making ourselves less than, just being absolutely sure of who we are. And not having to prove that. Not having to be better than someone else. Just be the best that we can be. And we can affirm this intrinsic worth. Because humility is not about forgetting your light. It's not about choosing to blind somebody else with it. It's about trusting that you have an inner light. You have this quiet strength, this resilience. You know you have it. Look back over your life. Perhaps things you don't think about. Something as you listen to this teaching, when you've shown that quiet inner strength. When you're in control. Not trying to reach perfection or outperform anybody. Just being who you are and being proud of who you are in whatever you do, in your work, in your leisure time. Just being the best that you can be. Don't judge yourself against someone else. Compare. Don't criticize yourself. Don't be judgmental. Just recognize your value. Because this is what defines who you are. Not what others think, not societal norms, not cultural expectations, but really what you believe, the depth of your being. Can you be ambitious? Of course you can. Of course you can be ambitious. You can follow your path. And this time, coming from humility and being aware to listen and to change and to be more flexible, perhaps you'll find that path much easier to walk. Perhaps you can be ambitious to speak your truth. Perhaps you could be ambitious to live with integrity. Humility doesn't weaken your boundaries. It actually strengthens them. It means you can speak your truth, not from an emotion of fear or anger or upset, from an emotion of love, respect, and a quiet assuredness of who you are. And so humility offers you liberation, to spread your wings, to stand tall in your truth, not hide behind a falseness of the inner child, not trying to be something you're not, but being something you are, to honor your uniqueness. In the I Ching, one of the most famous books of Taoism, Hexagram 61 says, "Inner truth is the root of harmony." This is not submission. This is sovereignty. And that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about judging yourself on what other people think. We're talking about judging yourself on what you think. And that really is the key. What do you think? Do you need to be a victim? Do you need to be defensive? Can you walk your own steps? Can you follow your path? Do you need to follow other people's path? Do you need to be better than them to prove yourself? If you do, you will be on the carousel of despair, and it will never be enough. Like a donkey chasing the carrot, it will never be enough. Where the truth is being humble, you already know you are enough. You don't have to shout, don't have to show it. It's just the truth. It's who you are. And people will recognize that. But more importantly, you will recognize that. Just imagine what that would be like. Just imagine walking into a room of strangers and just being who you are. And if you hear that doubt arising, it's not humble to surrender to it. It's humble to smile to it and say, I hear you. This is the inner child, but this is not the truth. We don't have to hide. We don't have to prove ourselves. We can just be ourselves. We can center ourselves in our truth. We're not defined by other people's opinion. We are defined by our opinion, from who we believe we are. This is such an important teaching, because there is no one in the universe like you. You are unique, and being humble is for you to celebrate that uniqueness and let that uniqueness flow. Let that ooze out of every part of you, through your eyes, through your words, through your energy, as you walk. So as we come to the end of this teaching, what would that look like to you? Just close your eyes for a second and see what that looks like. Not having to shrink or to hide or to be invisible, not sitting in a corner in silence, scared to speak, but just being yourself, not trying to prove. And when somebody tries one-upmanship inside, you just smile and you affirm, truthfully affirm, I honor my values, my worth, my shen. This is my birthright, and I stand in my truth. Wouldn't that be a lovely affirmation? Could you picture that now? Somebody trying to show off in front of you, and you're just saying that quietly to yourself, and you smile. And that smile will have a great effect. And this is the art of being humble. This is the art of flowing through life with grace, with ease. This is who you are. Be proud of who you are. You don't have to shout it from the rooftops. You don't have to prove it to everybody that comes into your vicinity. This is why these Tao Dialogues are so exciting for me to pass on. This is such an important teaching. Can I leave you with a couple of affirmations you could just say to yourself? Because this will take a bit of changing. Try these few. Breathe deep. I honor my truth without the need to prove it. I stand firm in kindness, not in falseness. I speak my truth with clarity and compassion. I believe in the power of softness over struggle. I choose to align to the natural rhythm of life, to relax, to breathe. And try this one finally. I embody grace. I accept myself. I trust myself. I see my inner strength. I value my truth, honesty, and integrity above all. So again, as always, thank you so much for joining me on these Tao Dialogues. I hope you enjoy them. Please let us know if you like it, or give us a subject you'd like me to address. Please try and subscribe to the channel, either to YouTube or your podcast, or have a look on my Substack. So until we meet again, Yi Dao, Qi Dao.